Hello, everyone. This is me from the future. It's been about 3 days since I did this interview, and I know a lot of you may not have enough time to watch a 40-minute interview, so I thought I could address the main takeaway at the start, which is to just follow Andy on his YouTube, TikTok, Spotify, and Twitter. He also does one on one coaching sessions. You can find out more about that on his YouTube channel. But yeah, Andy's just a really chill guy, and I had a really insightful chat with him. And if you want to follow him on his socials, all of that will be in the description box below. And without further ado, here's the interview.
That's a nice mic though.
Thank you. It's the Samson Q9U. It's like the
Sheesh.
second best microphone, apparently, or podcast mic.
Damn.
But yeah, so I just want to address two things right off the bat. Firstly, this is not my regular voice. Usually, I'm actually recovering from an illness that I contracted 2 days ago, so my voice kind of sounds a little bit raspy. So
Okay.
yeah, just take note of that. This is not my normal voice. And second thing is that I may have to whisper a little bit during this interview
Okay.
because
Uh-huh.
it's currently 11 p.m.
Yeah.
where I live, and I think it's
Yeah.
about 10 a.m. for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand.
So there's like a 11-hour difference between us. Is this like the
Yeah.
biggest time gap that you've had for an interview?
Nah, I have a lot of people from I mean, like I have a lot of phone calls with people in Singapore and like Thailand and Philippines. So this is not like out of the norm, but it's not the craziest because like 12 hours is cool, but then Australia is like 14, 15 something. And then it's just like the weird ones, like the 12 hour, like the 11, 12 hour ones are like easy to like, it's your 10, my 10 or whatever. But like when it's just like Dubai time or something, it just be like, I don't know, 8.5 hours ahead or something. And it's just kind of like, it gets really like, I don't know, weird. But yeah.
When you say calls, do you mean like consultations or do you mean interviews?
Yeah, like mostly like coaching calls, like for business, but also like friends overseas. Because do you follow me on like Twitter and stuff or not?
So far I've only just watched your YouTube content and I've
Okay.
searched like your Spotify stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So my main thing is on Twitter and stuff. So I through growing my following on Twitter and stuff, like I was able to meet a lot of people all around the world, and like yeah, so just a lot of cool spiritual people like all around the world. So it's just like I'm friends with them and stuff, and literally I have a friend like in every time zone. So it's just constantly like all over the place with the so they're not like consultation calls, they're like for fun calls, but it's all over the place.
That's awesome. Now, before we officially start the interview, maybe I can explain to the audience how this interview happened, just in case they were wondering. So, one of Andy's videos popped up on my YouTube feed. I can't exactly remember which one, but I remember watching through the entire thing, and I just thought this guy's pretty funny, and he's kind of admirable. And then I was scrolling through your channel, and I noticed that we do kind of similar content in the sense that like both of us were a lot of our spiritual concepts and learnings were taught and shaped by Eckhart Tolle. So then I was like, screw it, why not just contact this guy for an interview? And to my surprise, Andy said yes. So here we are. So thank you so much for being open to this. I'm sure you can agree that whenever you approach someone for an interview, there's always that slight fear of getting rejected. But at the same time, there's this quote that's like, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. And
Yeah.
I resonate with that a lot. It's better to like try and fail than not have tried at all. But
Yeah.
I digress. I want to shift the focus to you now because you're no stranger to doing interviews, right? You yourself have interviewed tons of people on your podcast, like other spiritual people like Dunya, Jim Spivey, Corey Cooley, Nick Bro, and now you're being interviewed by me. People seem to be naturally attracted to you and drawn to you. They want to like either be on your podcast or they either want to interview you. So I'd love to start things off by just asking you, what is it about you that you think people are so drawn towards?
Dang man, that's a crazy compliment to throw out there like that. But all right, so dang, man, I have to like digest that. But basically, it's like when you raise your vibration, when you really get in alignment with source, when you really like quiet your mind and stuff, and you're just really just full-time channeling and receiving source and receiving your higher self, basically just through quieting your mind and stuff like that, like you instantly just, I feel like, become more likable because you're way more authentic and you're just really aligned and you're on a higher frequency. So just your interactions are just simply going to be different, and just, you know, people are simply going to like you more, because like in my past it was the opposite. You know, it's just like in my past, like I struggled socially, no one liked me, like I sucked at everything I did. And then, you know, I finally learned how to quiet my mind. In doing so, I was able to release a lot of anxiety, a lot of negative thoughts. And once I released those, my whole life started changing. And that applies to every topic, financially, socially, like it doesn't matter. So for me, from my perspective, whenever anybody starts to really master the present stuff, you just naturally start to become, I don't know, just more people start to like you because you yourself have released those thoughts on that topic, I guess.
Okay, so while we're on the topic of the interviews, could you tell us more about your relationship with your interviewees? Like, how do you know them? How do you get them to do interviews with you? And do you improvise your questions on the spot, or do you plan them beforehand?
All right, so here's a funny story. So, I mean, it's not funny, but I started the podcast 2019. I was watching like London Real, and you know, obviously Joe Rogan inspires me. People like that. Obviously, everyone gets inspired by them. So I started a podcast, and you know, at first I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be that like guy. I'm like I want to be like Joe Rogan of the spiritual world. I want to like interview a lot of people. And I got on Twitter, and you know, I started to interact with all these spiritual people through Twitter and stuff, follow these accounts and stuff. And at first I was kind of like interviewing them and stuff. And you know, I didn't know what I was doing, but like my motto at the time was kind of like yours, is like pull the trigger, just start doing it, just reach out to these people. And you know, more people will like say yes than, you know, you expect. And I didn't know how to interview or anything, but you know, I was doing my research, whatever. But at that point in my life, I started to really take my own spirituality next level. And this is going to sound really arrogant, but within a short period of time, after interviewing like a bunch of people on online space that I really like, I don't know, followed and respected, whatever, it's going to sound crazy and arrogant, but I came to the realization that like I was on a different level than them. And like a lot of people, just because they have like millions of followers or big accounts, like that does not mean that they're at a crazy level with their spiritual practice and stuff, which is okay. But I started to see that I had just my personal takes were more like not more valuable, but just I was able to help more people just through my experiences and my wisdom, and the way that I was receiving source because of my spiritual practice. My alignment with source allows me to receive so much infinite intelligence. And so before you know it, I became my own spiritual teacher. And so I shifted my podcast and my content from interviewing people to just straight up being the spiritual teacher. And then it became like the podcast became about me, like my spiritual teachings. So for the most part, man, I don't even really interview people no more. But when I do, I just obviously let your curiosity guide you, right? Obviously, like, because that was my thing. At first, I was letting my curiosity guide me, and then it got to the point where like I wasn't curious no more. Like it wasn't like nobody was like saying, like nobody was offering me any more like, or my audience, I feel like, any more value. Like it kind of like reached like a ceiling, and I was like, okay, something needed to change. And then, you know, I became like the change and stuff. But so, yeah, you got to follow your curiosity with the questions. But then aside from that, it's just being deeply present with the other person, right? Like just stop thinking and just be. and it's always magic.
I agree with that. You mentioned something about a spiritual community on Twitter. I find that hard to believe, but could you tell us more about that? Like, where did you find the spiritual community on Twitter?
Are you on Twitter or not?
I try not to be. Whenever I open Twitter, I always see people like getting shot.
Okay, all right, but how, you've experienced Twitter, like
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
familiar with, like, okay, so um, that's the thing about Twitter is like who you follow and what you follow, right? So not a lot of people know this, understand this. Like, so I didn't even get on Twitter until like Gary Vee said something about Twitter that really clicked with me, and then that's why I got on Twitter. But basically, you follow the right type of people. So, for example, you have to take your interest, like your highest interest. So maybe you're into like books, maybe you're into spirituality, or cooking or whatever. So for my example, I was into spirituality. So I just looked up, just Google like spirituality, like Eckhart Tolle, like Google that type of things. And I started to follow the right type of accounts. And from there, you find all these spiritual accounts, you start following them and you just start like interacting with them. You start commenting on their posts, and then you start to like see other people that you resonate with, and it just goes from there. You follow them and them. So spiritual Twitter is basically, or spiritual anything, spiritual health scene, whatever. Like it's the same thing. It's just a bunch of people, hundreds of thousands of people, and plus connected by an invisible web of just interactions every day, daily interactions. And so once you follow the right people and you start interacting with the right accounts, the right people, this magical web of connections start unfolding day by day. And so now I become like one little pillar of spiritual Twitter. So the people who follow me see who I interact with and to see the people who I retweet and stuff. So now they see those accounts and they start interacting with those accounts, and then it just branches off from there. And I met all my best friends from there. I started a meditation group from there. I traveled like to all over the world with them. I made my best friends do that. Like it's been just nonstop magical experiences for me.
But why Twitter specifically?
It just happened that way. Like
It just happened.
It's just divine inspiration. It's just divine flow. Like it's nothing more than that. Like I was never on Twitter before that. Like ever. I didn't even know how Twitter worked.
Okay.
Just one day I was like, I need to get on Twitter.
All right. I see. I got you. Okay. Now, besides doing interviews, you also do these videos that are almost like journals where you talk to the camera about a specific spiritual concept or a spiritual practice. Like, for example, the first video on your channel was about radical gratitude and how it was a game changer. You posted that in August of 2019, I believe.
Yeah.
But your first ever podcast episode actually was posted on January of 2019. So I want to roll two questions into one and basically ask you when exactly your spiritual journey started and what made you want to start sharing your spiritual journey with people online.
So actually my spiritual journey started actually, how old am I? I'm 24 now. So it started 11 years ago when I was 13.
Damn.
And I was, but I was really suffering like crazy all the way until 2016. I had this like download to just deeply focus on one thing at a time. Like it's almost Eckhart Tolle talks about it, like just deeply 1000% focus on something, be present with it. And I didn't really understand. I didn't like really read Eckhart Tolle's book like that at the time. It was just something I received, and I did that, and it immediately drastically quieted my hectic mind. And that led me to like this huge level of like enlightenment for a little bit. And then after that, I realized like, damn, Eckhart Tolle talks about all this. So I started picking up his book and start studying all of this stuff. So I was able to like have that level of enlightenment like without his book. And then I picked up his book to understand, oh my God, like this is what's happening. And I was doing really well. It's my senior year of high school. I'm doing really well. And then my, I guess my things that I haven't addressed within me start really coming up. Like just cause I'm young, I'm a teenager or whatever, going through school. And I started to get into like certain relationships and stuff. And I kind of like lost myself. I chose to give up my presence and my spirituality to like be in these like toxic relationships and party, which none of it is bad. Like partying, like none of it, I don't regret it. It was amazing. I was partying, just smoking like an ounce every like 2 days. Like it was crazy. It was just like I just kind of, it was fun for a little bit, but then I just really lost myself in that. And fast forward late 2018, was heartbroken, rock bottom of my life, and that's when, and you know, I was like just really struggling, and that's when I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna completely surrender myself to Source. I'm gonna completely allow and surrender and start practicing presence again." And that's when I out of nowhere got on Twitter. That's when I started my podcast, and then it just all went from there when I started to completely surrender.
Okay. And when you say source, do you mean consciousness or what are you referring to?
Yeah, consciousness, universe, whatever you want to call the divinity of it all. Like, whatever.
All right. Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's start talking even more about spirituality and what it means to us. Because I'm sure you can agree that whenever someone says, I'm spiritual, that could literally mean anything. Spirituality is so different for everyone. But for me, spirituality is about, recognizing our true core essence as consciousness and connecting with consciousness. Spirituality is about peace, wholeness, connectedness, oneness, and completeness. And I want to say that without a doubt, the most influential spiritual people in my life would have to be Eckhart Tolle and his wife Kim Ung. And I think
wait, they're married?
They are married. Yeah, they've been married for a very long time.
I didn't know there was like a thing like that. That's crazy. I didn't know that. I thought they were just like business partners, like teaching partners.
I think they started off. I think Kim attended one of his like retreats, and then they started like hitting it off. So that's how.
What?
Yeah.
That's what, okay. That makes so much sense. I didn't know that. I wondered that before, but I was like, okay, I didn't.
Have you not seen any of like Kim's lectures or anything?
Not Kim specifically. I've seen a little bit of them. Well, I've seen a little bit of them, but I never seen an episode where they talk about me together, like or anything like that. So I was just like, okay.
Yeah, they're happily married. They have like one house where they live together, but they also own like two separate houses just for themselves when they need to like get away from each other. It's really funny.
That's how I want to do it. That's
really?
actually perfect. Yeah.
Well, you would need a lot of money for that.
I mean, yeah.
But anyways, so back to the topic. You also seem to follow Eckhart's teachings pretty closely as well. But at the same time, you also frequently mention these concepts of vibrations, frequencies, and manifestations that Eckhart doesn't really talk a lot about. And I also saw that you brought up Abraham Hicks a few times in your videos. So I'm just going to roll 3 questions into one. What does spirituality mean to you? Where did you learn about vibrations, frequencies, and manifestations, and what makes you believe in them? And who would you say are the most influential spiritual people in your life?
First question: what is how do I like define spirituality?
Yeah.
Let me see. All right, so I mean, spirituality because like there's spirituality in general, like people who buy crystals and stuff, like I guess but I guess I'll just define my brand of spirituality, like the little group that I resonate with. It's people who are like really about internal mastery, like really about like quieting their minds and really about taking consciousness to the next level, in alignment with Source. Yeah, but it all starts like with your internal practice. So I really resonate with people. So like my message to people has been really about like being effective with your spiritual practice. And that's always been my thing. It's just like, bro, you could do a bunch of like nothing and say you're spiritual, which you are. But then when you're really effective with your spiritual practice, it's like, that's when reality really starts changing and your internal world really starts changing and your consciousness really starts accelerating. What was your second question?
Where did you learn these concepts of vibrations, frequencies, and manifestations, and what makes you believe in them?
Yeah. So back to 2018, I was at the, I was struggling at the rock bottom of my life. okay, so at some point around that time, I have started to realize like, okay, being present is great. Like I'm at a very high level with just quieting my mind and stuff like that. But I read about all these great like experiences, like Joe Dispenza. He talks about all this like supernatural things, and I'm like, damn, I'm not experiencing that. Like I'm at a high level internally, but it's like, damn, I'm not like really. There's something more. Like I just know there's something more. Like, and so I discovered the teachings of Abraham Hicks and stuff, and basically that led me to just adding gratitude, basically on top of like a gratitude practice on top of my already presence practice that I was already good at. So that absolutely skyrocketed in my life because first, so I teach thought mastery, which means subtract negative thoughts and add positive thoughts. So I was able to release negative thoughts through Eckhart Tolle's teachings, but that's just the fucking beginning. Then you add positive thoughts, either of gratitude or of manifestation, like, and you start doing those things, and it just took me to the absolute next level. And I've seen that like most people do one or the other, and usually they struggle either way. But like usually they are trying to quiet their mind, and they're on their journey to do that, or they're trying to reach enlightenment type of thing. And then there's the other type of people who only focus on manifestation, who, they might be like doing a lot of affirmations and visualizations, but they struggle with releasing their negative thoughts, which slows everything down, right? Versus, the people who are quieting their minds and stuff, and they're experiencing more internal peace and stuff. But from there, there's so much more you can do with it. Like you can take your consciousness to the next level if you just added gratitude and stuff like that on top of that. Like, so, when I like finally did both, it just completely took my whole everything to the absolute next level. Yeah, I don't remember the third question.
Like, the third question was, who are the most
spiritual teachers?
Yep.
Yeah. Eckhart Tolle in the beginning, Dr. Joe Vitale. So it went Joe Vitale, Eckhart Tolle. There was like a bridge of this Joe Dispenza, and then Abraham Hicks, and then now just me receiving source. Now it's just I don't like really I haven't read much of anything in a long time. I just completely just receive source. And so like all my teachings are basically, all my podcast episodes, it's just like me receiving source. It's just like, stuff like that. So yeah, so it's like my own brand of teachings, but the thing is everyone can have their own brand of teachings.
Who was the first person that you said?
Joe Vitale.
Who was he?
Well, he's great. He just talked a lot about like manifestation stuff, but also a lot about like subconscious mind work and stuff. So it's just like I learned a lot of that type of stuff through him. But yeah, like that stuff was great, and I'm deeply grateful for everything he taught. But I was just struggling with my thoughts so much at the time that a lot of the subconscious mind stuff wasn't helping, because it's not really about like fixing your subconscious mind. It's literally about fixing your conscious mind, like fixing the thoughts that you're already thinking every day. Like that's what you should address. Like the thoughts that you are literally like feeding to this day, like every day, like you got to fix that. And so Eckhart Tolle's teachings really allowed me to do that, and then just went from there.
Okay. So right now you're currently doing your podcast and you're doing your coaching sessions. What other stuff do you have in plan for the future? Are you gonna like write a book or?
Yeah. Hey, you're really great at this. Thank you. So, so fun facts, like the last 6 months was really like the first. So technically, I've been podcasting, doing Twitter for like 4 years, but like I really did not take it seriously until like 6 months ago. Like I didn't fully like commit to like the spiritual teacher online path till like 6 months ago. But so yeah, ever since 6 months ago, that's when I started to like really coach and really like post content a little bit more consistently. But but yeah, I've been working on a book, an ebook too, and it's like almost done. And I mean, that's really it. It just continue, just create content and then coach people and then put out my books and just expand my teachings. Um, but like as a spiritual teacher, my next like 6 months, it's like, I just want to continue putting out like, there's so much more content there's so much more of my teachings that I want to push out. And like the present stuff is just the beginning, right? Like I tell a lot of people who are coaching stuff, like, man, like the Eckhart Tolle stuff is just the absolute beginning. Like you can reach extremely high level with that. And it's just like, that's like the baseline for me. That's like the norm for me. Like you get to the point where those teachings are like, it's like waking up and brushing your teeth. It's like absolutely easy and nothing at that point. Like it's, and then you just continue to move forward with your consciousness. And so there's a lot of teachings for me to put out. Yeah. And then obviously personal goals, like hit a certain amount of, finance, like, coaching, financial, sales goals. And obviously like hit like certain numbers on YouTube and stuff, whatever. But that's whatever. Yeah.
Do you sometimes feel like this whole YouTube coaching thing gets in the way of your spiritual practice?
Not the way I do it, because if anything is getting in your way, if anything is like just bothersome in your life, it means that you have resistance in your vibration, which means that you have negative thought patterns that you want to release. So no, honestly, the more I've been making more and more money online or through coaching, and it's been getting easier and easier and easier and easier. Like, because I've released resistance.
Okay.
Yeah. So whatever you're struggling with, right? If you're struggling to interview people, whatever, look at how it's making you feel and how it's making you like triggering within you, right? And you want to be able to effectively release those triggers, right? And then your reality will change. So that's the biggest thing.
Okay. You talked a bit about some spiritual practices. I was wondering, what are some of your favorite spiritual practices to do?
Okay. I'll name them off. I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but when it comes to like quieting your mind, so present moment awareness. But the thing is, I don't even need to practice that anymore. Like, it's just natural for me. Like, it's natural for me to be at the most blissful place. Like, you just reach the point you don't have to like really try. Like, you've mastered it, and it's just like, boom. And so I don't even really put a conscious effort into that much anymore. It's just like it's like forever a beneficial thing now. It's just there. And then I also teach the focus wheel by Abraham Hicks. It's just like a very extremely powerful technique to really shift your negative thought patterns. And this is super useful for manifestation. This is how I was able to like reach the next level of manifestation financially or with every topic of my life, like through focus wheels. It's like a technique to shift your thoughts. I talk a little bit of that on my YouTube channel, but I'm gonna start talking more about that because I'm wrapping up my presence episodes for the most part. And then for the positive stuff, definitely strong appreciation practice, strong gratitude practice. And then also a strong like affirmation visualization practice. That's it. So there's the how to release the negative thoughts and add positive thoughts practice, and you just, yeah.
For the gratitude practice, is it the one where you like list off a bunch of people and then you say like, I'm thankful for this person because blah, blah, blah. Is it that thing?
So I actually have an episode dropping in like 90 minutes. That's probably way more up to date, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. But there's a lot to talk about with gratitude, but it's just like thinking positive thoughts, just activating positive thoughts. It doesn't fucking matter how. Like, you could just be like, I appreciate this plant next to me. I appreciate this interview. Like, just say those positive thoughts in your head for a minute or 2 or 5 or 10 or 20 a day. Like, it doesn't matter. Start with 2. If you just get 2 minutes a day, like 2 minutes a day completely shifted my life. So just, what I'm saying? So just, yeah. Or what's funny, it was like when I first started, like, because I didn't know what I was doing, my cue to practice gratitude was every time I used the bathroom. Every time I stepped inside a bathroom, I would list off a few things I appreciate and just like bathe in that feeling for like a minute or two. And every time I use the bathroom, I just did that and skyrocketed my life. Like,
Why specifically the bathroom?
I have no freaking clue, dude. Like, dude, I don't know, bro. I don't know if I heard this technique. Someone did this technique somewhere, but it was just a cue. Like, it was just like, if I'm in the bathroom, I'm gonna do this. And it was just a perfect cue because I don't know, where else do you go to every day? Like, what's a room that you step into like constantly throughout the day?
Right.
And, you know, have a space of freedom from people and stuff. I don't know.
Okay, that's fair.
Like, it was just made perfect sense.
All right. So I also want to just kind of ask, besides spirituality, what are some of the other things that you're interested in?
Hey, video games, first person shooters. Really, really passionate about. I'm very passionate about my hobbies. Like, oh yeah, video games. Like, I'm very, very, very passionate about this game I play. And I'm gonna start streaming soon, just for fun. Bro, like, I think this is a genius idea, bro. Like, I'm gonna stream to, um, I'm gonna stream to my already spiritual audience, right? So imagine like you have your followers, right? And I'm gonna stream to them, and they can just join and hang out with us, like me and my friends and stuff. Like I don't know. I just think that's super genius because I play video games all the time, and I'm not doing it to make money or nothing. Like, it's just like I'm streaming, and you can just chat. Like, imagine if Eckhart Tolle and Abraham Hicks, like, or whoever, like,
Streamers.
was streaming, right, and you get to see me practicing presence and stuff at like the most intense moment on the battlefield of a game, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's the only time you'll see me like be at any level of like frustrated at any point, like, you know, and it's just like very minimal. It's like, fuck, we lost that game, like, fuck. That's the only time you ever see me like that, like, because like I've reached the level where like I've cleared so much resistance on things in life. But yeah, when it comes to video games, I still have more to like clear and stuff. But it's crazy. Like, my video games, like, I apply my deep spiritual practice, my manifestation practice, my presence practice, my clearing practice to my video games and stuff. It's like, I don't know. So video games, and then really, really into manga and anime. But it's, you know, on a different level than most people. On a very different level. The more I like became deeply spiritual, the more I connected with source, the more my manga anime story journey like became extremely personal, and it's just like source like speaking to me on like a super high level. Like, it's hard to explain. Like, I know people experience a level of that, but like the level I'm talking about is like pretty insane. Because like the more you raise your vibration, the more reality reflects your like the reality just continues to reflect that level of consciousness. So you're reading the same pages of something, but when you really raise your vibration, the same pages speak to you way different. The same house that you're in, it's experienced way differently. It depends on where your vibration is calibrated, and gratitude will help with that a lot. So yeah, go ahead.
Speaking of games, have you seen the new GTA 6 trailer?
Yeah. I live in Florida, so
right.
Like, it's like, damn, this is like exactly what Florida is like. Like, perfect.
Yeah, and I was wondering, like, as a Floridian, is Florida as crazy as everyone makes it out to be?
Nah, it's not.
No?
It's not, but it depends on your vibration, right? Like, Miami, for example, I tell people this. Miami amplifies your vibration. So whatever's in your vibration, if it's negative, whatever, you go there, you're gonna get a certain type of experience. But my vibration, you know, I have pretty good vibration. I feel like I go there and it's just always like super epic, like amplification of that, and it's always amazing. So whatever's in your vibration will get amplified. So yeah.
I feel like whenever people think about crazy states in New York, in America, they either think Florida or New York. Yeah. I was thinking, which one do you think is crazier, Florida or New York?
Man, I can't stand. Oh, I'm actually born in New York, but man, New York is crazy. Well, there's nothing wrong with New York. I love New York too, but I just can't stand the city, man. Like, I have to be I have to be in like nature. I have to be in like yeah, like I just can't. I just really love Florida. Like I'll go to like New York with my friends or something. And I love New York. I love New York, but it's like nah, New York people are built different. New York, yeah. Anybody knows, bro. New York people are built different, bro.
So
Like,
you were born in New York, then you moved to Florida?
yeah, born in New York, and I was sent. Um, I was sent to China to live with my grandparents until I was 4. So I grew up in China,
Oh,
and
okay.
then yeah,
Then
and
you
then brought
moved
me
to
back here. Yeah, and it started my character development journey.
Damn.
Dude,
You've been
yeah, it was the
you've
worst.
been around the block. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, now I'm gonna try to shift the interview into be a bit more deep and personal. I was watching this interview with Rachel Macy and Tammy Simon. Do you know who Tammy Simon is?
Mm-hmm.
She's like a close associate of Eckhart's. She wears the glasses and she has like the white curly hair.
No, I didn't know that.
You never seen her? Anyways, yeah, she
No.
was interviewing this person named Rachel Macy who said something super profound that I'd like to share with you. She said, if I really want people to know who I am, I want them to know what really matters to me. So, one of the main things that really matters to me is to use this privilege and platform that I have to uplift others and give back to others. So, really, activism matters a lot to me. Raising awareness of social causes or social issues is like a really important thing to me. And philanthropy is also important to me. I try to donate to 3 charities every month. The three,
Sheesh.
yeah, the 3 charities that I'm currently donating to are the Eckhart Tolle Foundation,
Sheesh.
the World Food Program, and this nonprofit organization in Colorado named There with Care. They work with like families in crisis and children in hospitals, and they give
Mm-hmm.
them like financial aid and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if you had any social causes or positive social movements that you know of that you would like to promote to the audience, anything like that.
All right, so I really don't because I teach like just alignment with my own energy, and when you're really aligned with source, like you are just naturally uplifting people like crazy. So like yeah, I'm more of just like making a positive impact through elevating consciousness and
Right,
just
right.
people being uplifted through it, and to me that's all I care about. So no, I don't
Interesting.
really, because that's why I teach this like heavily. Like um I just because I used to try to help so many people, but it just seemed like when I was trying to help people, no one would listen to me, and like I wasn't really making an impact. I started to just stop helping people and just focus on raising my vibration and holding it at a high place. And then it's just like, man, I don't even try. I just wake up and somehow I just help somebody. Like change their life completely. Like, like no, seriously, like, and it's just like, yeah, ever since then I stopped trying to help people. But in doing so, it was like, oh my gosh, like I'm helping tons of people. So I don't really try to, just personally, I don't really try to help no one anymore. I don't whatever because like I'm helping so many people on a daily basis by accident, like without trying, because I'm just so focused on my own alignment. So when you start to like focus on your own alignment and basically in a way be selfish by your own energy, like now you're completely full, and now now your cup is finally like overflowing, and when it overflows, it flows to other cups, I guess. But I don't know. This is just what has really deeply worked for me. So this is why like I all I preach is that, because think about it, I help someone transform someone's vibration and everything, and they're helping like a bunch of more people, right? And then just like so I'm seeing the impact every single day, So that's what I'm focused on, like my own individual vibrational impact.
All right. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's super valid. I was just wondering if there were any like stuff like that. But
yeah.
all right. So I guess my final question for you to just wrap this whole thing up is, where can people find you and how can they support you?
Um, just I would really like for people to be on my watch my YouTube videos. Because it's been recently I just started to go on YouTube, but if you could just like I don't know, link the YouTube channel, and then My Twitter is at Andy's Vibe. So if you just follow me, and if you already follow me or whatever, and uh, you want to check out my Twitter, it's like I think it's pretty cool. Because like I don't know, when else have you seen like? I know I'm not on the magnitude of like Eckhart and stuff, but like where else have you seen like spiritual teachers and stuff like just be so personal? Like I don't know. So I love my Twitter. Damn, I sound so egotistic this whole hour, bro. Like that's crazy.
No judgments
But
here. No judgments
all
here.
right, bet. But what was I about to say? Yeah, so just check those out, and that's really it.
And your podcast as well, right?
Yeah, podcast. Whatever I'm on. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll link Andy's stuff in the description or somewhere. But yeah, okay. Thank you so much for your time, Andy. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And yeah, I think this is it. So take care, and I'll
All right.
keep in touch. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, sounds good.
Thank you so much. See you.
All right, peace.
Peace.